Coming up, we have stories about poorly planned proposals, unlike Travis. Upset wedding guests, unlike us at Travis and Taylor's wedding. Conflicting dinner reservations, unlike us at... Okay, I'll stop. Selling priceless family items, refusing to take care of in-laws, unwelcome house guests, ungrateful stepsons. We also have spicy stories and petty revenge stories. Because how could we not? It is Wednesday, after all. Am I the astronaut for telling my boyfriend his proposal wasn't well planned, causing us to no longer be engaged? I, 32 female, was proposed to by my boyfriend, 38 male. It was an awkward proposal as we were on a family trip, sharing a house with my mom, sister, her husband, and young children. At one point, my sister awkwardly got up from the fire pit and told her husband and mom to come with her. So I knew something was up. He was sweet, got down on one knee, and asked me to marry him. I was so happy and said yes. But about 5 minutes later, my family came back out to the patio to congratulate us. My boyfriend sat down and started chatting with my brother-in-law about unrelated topics. He didn't bring it up the rest of the night. Even when I asked him questions like, how or when should we tell your family? He just said, we'll figure it out. Then told me not to wear the ring to work because a lot of my coworkers know his mom. It just totally killed all of my excitement and joy. When we got home from the trip, I decided to talk to him about it because we got home Sunday night and he left for a week-long work trip Monday morning, again leaving me wondering how or when we were going to be able to tell people. I felt that he took all of the excitement out of something that should have been such a happy time. Anyways, when I mentioned it just seemed random and not really planned, he got mad and said, well, let's just call it off then. I was so surprised by that, I just told him we needed to cool down. He came back into our room later and said, what he meant was we should just redo the proposal, but that I interrupted him and didn't let him finish his sentence. Okay. Bullshit. I didn't, and that doesn't remotely sound like we should just call it off to me. I told him that calling off an engagement less than 24 hours after proposing is a problem. He tossed the ring at me and said, whatever, just sell it then. Really racking it up here, boy, aren't you? He later apologized for losing his temper, not like him at all. But I just feel like even if he did redo the proposal, the damage is already done. I can't help but feel like I could have just not made a big deal about it and avoided all of this, or this whole thing is a red flag, and sadly, maybe I shouldn't marry him? Am I the astronaut? Let's talk for a second. There is an update, but before we get into that, we got to chat about this for a second. All right, there's multiple problems. I would say his behavior when you tried to talk to him about this is the bigger red flag for me, the bigger red flag than the low effort proposal here, right? Which is also a red flag, but the bigger red flag is the I'll take my ball and go home behavior when confronted here.
Yeah. Him just one throwing the ring and said, we'll just sell it or we'll just call it off, and then like what I meant was, that's not what you meant, dude. You said, let's call it off.
Oh, no, it wasn't even what I meant was, I was going to say this, but you interrupted me.
So it was her fault. Like the whole thing seems like he's acting very immature. And it's like, if planning is important to your partner, then make sure you take the steps to do that whenever you're asking them to marry you, because that is a memorable moment. That's something you're going to remember for the rest of your life. So if you're going to do it in a way that the person you're proposing to would appreciate. And I do think it sucks that she can't wear the ring to work and like go to work and show it off. Like,
what's the point? You're fake engaged.
It does damage the excitement and like the momentum that comes from getting engaged. But yeah, I mean, call your mom, dude. Like FaceTime.
He's afraid. Clearly, he's afraid because he doesn't want her to wear the ring because he doesn't want his mom to find out. And maybe that's why it was a low effort engagement in the first place. And maybe that's what's driving his spit throwing behavior also, is that he's afraid of what his mommy is going to say.
Yeah, so he did it and then but don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's messy. You made it messy and it's supposed to be like, and she's not wrong. It is something that you will remember for the rest of your life. Very detailed and like it all is very stored. I mean, at least for us, it's very stored in our brain. Like we can recall it at any time.
It's a story. It's a story we can pass down to our grandkids.
So I mean,
right?
it is something, and it is something that is memorable. And to do this to a memory that you want to cherish, I think is
so. When you're in a relationship, if it matters to the person that you're with, it probably needs to matter to you as well, because that's what a relationship is about, right? And in this case, it seems like he took her desires or preferences and did not honor them at all. I don't even know why he proposed.
It's not even getting hung up on the proposal or anything like that. I mean, I think it's definitely a preface to how you're going to be treated in that relationship. And I think, how he treated her directly after he proposed is a red flag. And so I think knowing if someone's going to put the time and effort into something that they know that you care about speaks volumes to how you're going to be treated in that relationship.
Do you feel like my proposal to you was indicative or foreshadowing about our relationship?
Absolutely. Like, you took the time, effort, and energy to plan it all. Something I would have been happy with the proposal waking up in the morning and you just proposing to me in bed, but you took the time and energy to do all of that. And to me, it's one of the best stories of my life. It just helps add to the love and like happiness of our relationship. So to me, it's very like near and dear to my heart, the way that you did it, and to have that like memory of us. So it's not that the pressure is on our engagement. It was just like, it's a love story, and like it really is something that I cherish. So, but let's read the update.
It was a secret. All right, here's the update. Thank you all for the feedback and helping me gain clarity on the situation. I'll add a couple of key pieces of information that may clarify some popular questions. One, to me, the proposal itself was absolutely fine. I didn't want or expect anything Instagram worthy. I don't even have Instagram. So maybe my heading was a little misleading. I said it wasn't well planned because to me, part of proposing is the excitement that follows and telling people, etc., which he had no plan to do. Bad timing may have been the better word instead of poor planning. I mean, he goes on this trip once a year. It's not a frequent thing. Two, his mother loves me and I love her. She is the one who introduced us when she and I used to work together, which is why I was so concerned with how and when we wanted to tell her. So she didn't feel left out since my family was there and I wasn't stuck avoiding her or lying to her for a week while he was away when she asked me how the trip went, which she already has. 3, I have never pressured this man into marriage. In fact, he has been much more into the idea than I have. Of course, we've talked about it, but I was the one saying let's not rush it. So definitely not a shut up ring. I have heard the term shut up ring before.
I've never heard that term before until right now.
Really?
Yeah, shut up ring.
It's a shut up ring.
Here's your ring. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially,
basically, yeah.
It's that simple. Okay, so it's a timing issue. It has nothing to do with hiding it from mom. He's not scared of mom because she would, of course, approve. What is his deal though? Why
is he getting cold feet?
Maybe he regrets the decision.
His responses are emotional. Like, he's obviously like in his feels about something. So hopefully he can communicate to her. Obviously what he said was an overreaction and he should not have said it. And it does make him an asshole for doing it, but it was an emotional response. So what is it that's making him emotional about it?
It
wasn't a good emotion.
I'm going to use his line at some point just to be funny with you, where if I stick my foot in my mouth, I'm going to come back in and be like, what I was going to say, but you interrupted me was...
yeah, that to me is like, that's very, very messy.
It's very childish, and he's 38. I think like at 38 probably should be beyond that behavior, especially in a relationship, but hell. Am I the ask-and-off for telling my brother I met his new girlfriend at an AA meeting? My brother started dating this new girl, and I realized I recognized her from AA. I'm not an addict, but my lawyer recommended I attend some AA meetings to help strengthen an ongoing case against me. I know it's her because I remember her very unique name from the AA meeting, and she also talked for a very long time. I thought it was important to mention it to my brother, is because I'm worried about her as a partner to him. In AA, she mentioned that not only did she use hard drugs, but also that she feels like she can't control herself. She also admitted to drugs making her verbally aggressive and unstable emotionally, and at the same time, she was not sober. I know my brother, and I know that he holds himself and his partners to a high standard, and that he hates drama in his relationship. I told him what she said, and he broke up with her, and she basically stalked me and also called me an untrustworthy bitch who ruined her experience with AA. Honestly, I think I was just trying to help my brother out, but some of my friends think it was messed up for me to tell him. But I think it's better for him to know what kind of person she is ahead of time. Am I the astronaut? Edit. To clear up some things because a lot of people are assuming a lot, I am fighting my case because I believe the legal system is corrupt, but I want to be accountable in other ways. I don't regularly drink and drive. I don't even drink at all. The night was the worst night of my life, and I would take it back in a heartbeat. All I'm asking is opinions on how I should have handled the situation situation with this girl, not to talk about whether I deserve to rot in jail because of my DUI. I do not condone drinking and driving, and I think it's a very serious crime, and I understand the gravity of my actions. Okay, before getting into the update.
Does this person understand the gravity of their actions? Because they really downplayed.
Yeah, they don't want to talk about that.
What they did in the first thing, and I think anyone who downplays a DUI or drinking and driving to make a point in a fucking AITA story, I'm like, I don't want to hear anything else you have to say because you are an ASCON one. You're a terrible human. Because that just pisses me off.
That makes sense. Magic, drop your statement here. He didn't want to be there, so he doesn't respect AA. He's 100% ASCON one. Okay, so
I don't know if it's a woman or a man, but a sister or brother. I'm not sure, but like this person does not respect what AA means. Doesn't give a shit about their drinking and driving because they're not taking it seriously by respecting what AA means. And I'm sorry, but that is just and I know it's not about their drinking and driving, but the damage you could have done to someone, like, and then to downplay it like this, you've a big hole to climb out of because that's ridiculous.
You get a big hole. Look at it this way, OP. Let's say that you started dating somebody and their sibling remembered you from AA and informed them that you were there. I highly doubt that you would appreciate that. Mm-hmm. I think that you would probably react poorly because you don't view your presence at AA to be indicative of your character.
Right.
You don't view your presence at AA to define who you are as a person, but you cast that judgment for someone else. And Angel, I saw your comment here too. Like, it says NTA still because my sister is mine to protect and a stranger is not. And I understand that. But I don't think, especially if you are part of that system as well, that you can cast that judgment on someone else. And I understand the concern, right? I understand the concern, but I think it's anonymous. I don't know. Do you agree to terms whenever you enter that and say, like, I agree to protect the anonymity? I fucked it up.
Yeah.
I agree to protect the anonymity of this group. Do you agree to that?
I think that you do. I think I mean, I would think so, but I have never been to a meeting.
Yes, you 100% agree to that when you go. Okay, so they agreed to something and then reneged on it. And I think if you agree to something, you agree to something.
I think the brother's girlfriend should have been allowed the opportunity to tell her own story, especially since he or she learned it at an AA meeting. I just think that the AA is there to help people who are addicted. And if we don't give them every possible tool, the more that we out people in AA, the more people are unlikely to use it and the less help they're going to get. So
it's no longer a support structure, it's a risk.
Yes.
Here's the update. My reception last time was not very positive, and I realized that my approach at the time wasn't the best. So in this update, I'm going to try to be emotionless as possible and just give you guys the facts. I showed my brother the thread. We talked about it. He told me he thinks I have a drinking problem.
Shocking.
That was hard to hear. He also reached out to his ex. I don't know the results of that. I reread my replies. The stories about drunk drivers killing loved ones hit me the hardest. I felt a lot of guilt realizing what I did and went into a depression spiral. I think everything I bottled up came out, and I quit my job. I emailed the AA group leader with a lengthy apology. She was upset, of course, but was very kind. I'm banned from AA, but she matched me with someone to talk to. I texted my brother's ex with an apology and an offer to meet up in person. She didn't reply for a few days. Eventually she did and said that she acknowledges, but she also went in on me and went into detail about how much pain I have caused her. She said she cannot forgive me yet. I talked to my lawyer. We're trying to figure out the logistics of a guilty plea without conviction because he thinks that what I did in AA may affect the case. I'll likely get my license revoked and will have to pay a fine. I'm currently jobless and I'm probably going to move back in with my parents until I can be better. There's also a tweet going around saying someone knows me and outed me to my brother. This did not happen. This person was trying to capitalize on a messed up situation for internet points. My brother and I have never met nor interacted with this person. At the moment, I am still very depressed. I'm trying to right my wrongs, but I don't think I can ever do that. However, I think that this was going to come out eventually, and the thread didn't make me depressed. It was the consequences of my own actions. Thank you for helping me see the pain I was causing before it was too late. Edit, I'm not banned from AA in general, just the AA meeting that I went to. Okay. Is this progress?
I mean, acknowledging the hurt that you caused, I think is progress for any human being. But I'm glad that this person took it seriously enough. And I hope that if they do go back to AA. I hope they respect it and give it everything they have so that they can move forward in life. Because, I mean, I've said this so many times, but I believe in second chances, and I believe in programs like this and things to help people get back on their feet. So I hope that this person, like, with their whole heart, does not make the same mistake again.
Yeah, I would agree. Angel dropped the 5 here and said, even in therapy, your confidentiality is based on not being a harm to yourself or others. I understand that. I don't think, what was revealed at that time was a clear presentation of imminent harm.
Right.
But put yourself in this situation. Let's say that you were in there and there was a clear presentation of imminent harm and they were dating your sibling and your sibling had a kid. Like, the situation could get very, very complicated and messy. I understand that.
Why not go to the girlfriend and say, hey, this is something that my sibling needs to know. Please fill them in. Like, probably, I'm giving you till this date. Like, give them the opportunity to tell their story and not you doing it for you when you know that you're not supposed to.
There you go.
Give the person the opportunity to say that.
I would probably talk to her and then the AA group leader before taking any kind of steps to out that person.
Yes, absolutely.
And just jumping in and assuming that you're right in your power.
A great idea of talking to that leader and that person and still respecting it, and then still getting your brother or whoever the information you believe that they need. But at the end of the day, we have to give these programs a chance to work, and doing what OP did was detrimental to that. So
and detrimental to their own case.
Yeah.
Found a little bit of karma there, it sounds like.
Right.
Am I the astronaut for confronting my sister over allowing dogs to her wedding and not children? My 34 female sister, 26 female, got married a few weeks ago. When she sent the invite, she stated it was a child-free wedding, which, while was disappointing for my 2 kids, 13 and 11, was understandable. We've had a few child-free weddings in my family. It sucks, but there was always someone to babysit the kids. She gets along great with my kids. They love their Aunt Stacy. She even offers to take them places during the summer, museums, movies, etc., without any prompts. They were a little disappointed, my daughter especially, because she and my sister bonded in a big sister, little sister sort of way during planning. She even helped pick out the centerpieces for the tables. So when I told my kids they couldn't come, Megan was quite upset and cried that night. I talked to her about how her aunt just wanted to ensure her guests were able to be themselves, and if they got a little too wild, they weren't doing it in front of children, etc. Weddings can be a little wild, and with Stacy's guest list being a much more younger crowd, that kinda was what happened. It was an outdoor wedding with a lot of space. I noticed a guest had a dog with her and just assumed it was a medical alert dog, but then several other guests came with dogs, and they were running around engaging with guests, barking loudly and, well, doing what dogs do on grass. When we started dancing, the dogs were chasing each other through the dance floor and even caused a guest to trip and fall. They were okay. I was upset, but again, it's my sister's wedding. I didn't say anything to her and honestly wasn't going to. That is, until Stacy invited me and Megan to lunch to look at the pictures. Megan declined. She was still upset, but I went and we had a good lunch. When I saw the pictures, I noticed there were several pictures of just the dogs. I asked Stacy if she was going to post those on social, and she said yes. Knowing Megan would see them, I told her the truth behind Megan not wanting to come to lunch. I told her about Megan and how she hurt her feelings. And now she was insulted because her aunt picked dogs over her to go to the wedding. I told Stacy she needs to apologize to Megan if she ever wanted to repair the relationship they once had. Stacy didn't say anything, left some money on the table, and walked away. Our mom started to text me saying I needed to apologize to Stacy for the way I lashed out at her, and that Megan is a kid and she'll get over this, but Stacy will now feel bad about her entire wedding. Stacy's maid of honor even texted me saying that if Stacy wanted 100 dogs and no kids, it was her wedding and my kid shouldn't be upset over not going. Now I wonder if I should have kept my mouth shut and not ruined my sister's memory of her wedding by telling her that her niece now resents her for her choices. Boy, this is a fuster cluck. Okay.
I think both things can be true. Stacy gets to have whatever she wants at her wedding because it is her wedding, but that doesn't mean that the niece who feels like her sister doesn't get to be upset. Like, those are her feelings. So both things can be happening at the same time.
What OP said to Stacy was that she was upset and Stacy needed to apologize or she would resent her. But why does OP's daughter feel the way that she feels? There are two factors there. One is Stacy included her in the planning process and they kind of had a little bonding going on there. I feel like Stacy missed an opportunity to talk to her before sending the invites to clarify that it was going to be child free and that this, because it was going to be child free, she was including her in this process so she could still be part of it. So there would have been clarification. Nobody would have been surprised there. I feel like Stacy dropped the ball there, but it is her wedding, her choice. I feel like the other reason that OP's daughter is upset is because of OP. Because OP made it a thing, right? OP made it a thing whenever she was talking about the dogs. She made it a thing. Well, actually, OP hasn't told her daughter about the dogs being there yet.
She asked if they were going to be posted to social media where her daughter would see them.
So her daughter was already hers. So I feel like at this point, like you can say, hey, I think Megan's going to feel this way. Stop there. I don't think you can say you need to apologize. Right. You need to reach out. No, she's a big girl. She's a married woman. Let her handle her own shit. You can give her a heads up that Megan might be upset when she sees these, but you can't tell her what to do either. I do think if Stacy would have clarified this with Megan ahead of time, it would have avoided this whole mess. And then she could have enjoyed and treasured being a part of the planning process a little bit better here. So it's almost kind of an ESH.
That's what I was going to say.
Not for having dogs instead of kids there, but for not communicating that ahead of time to somebody who really got their hopes up because they were part of the process.
100%. ESH.
OP says she just saw that it was kid free at the wedding.
Yeah, because OP didn't know that dogs were like invited or whatever until she got
there. And it was dogs running around, which sounds like a really fun wedding, honestly. And I mean, like, dogs are not the same thing as kids. And if the kid's not being there is because they wanted to get rowdy and not worry about being rowdy in front of kids, they don't have to worry about being rowdy and a little tipsy in front of dogs, right? I mean, our dogs would judge us, but
I do think Stacy, like, going and getting her mom involved and her maid of honor texting OP. I don't know. I don't like that.
Yeah,
she could
calling in the troops was.
She could have kept it between her and her sister, and she could have gotten upset about it, but then communicated to her sister. Like, I don't know. Just when you bring in other people and then they're attacking the person you're mad at, like, it's just, especially when it's a mom who's supposed to be neutral, like, it's very messy.
That's war. Like, you're starting a war. You're taking a personal one-on-one conversation and turning into a war at that point, which is not cool. So I think there are a couple of steps that were missed here that could have avoided a lot of drama.
Stacy's a bigger asshole than OP for me because of that.
I would agree. Am I the astronaut for skipping my anniversary dinner to go to a coworker's farewell party? I, 35 female, have been married to my husband, 38 male, for almost 2 years. Since my company went remote last year, I've been working from home full time, which, while I like the flexibility, I have missed the social interaction of being in the office. I've been making an effort to have lunch with my coworkers occasionally, and it has helped me feel like I still have a life outside of the house. One of my closest work friends, James, just got promoted and is moving to Europe. He has been with the company for years, and a lot of us are going to miss him. The team is throwing him a farewell party next Thursday, and I told my husband I was planning to go. That is when he reminded me that Thursday is our wedding anniversary. He said he had already made dinner reservations as a surprise. I genuinely felt bad for forgetting, but I told him we could still celebrate the next day or over the weekend. I've got a red flag here. He said it's not the same and that it feels like I'm putting a coworker ahead of him. He did not yell or argue, but instead got quiet and started doing this thing where he mopes around and acts really sad without really saying much. I told him anniversaries can be celebrated any time, and this dinner is a one-time thing. James is leaving the country. I will not have another chance to see him off. My husband, on the other hand, will be here the next day, the day after that, and so on. Now, he has been a bit distant all week, like I personally attacked him by not canceling my plans. It feels like I am dealing with a kid who is pouting because his birthday party did not go exactly how he pictured it. I get that anniversaries are special to some people, but I honestly do not think this is that big of a deal. We have only been married 2 years, and to me, the important milestones are 5, 10, and so on, not every single year. I'm still willing to celebrate, just not on that exact Thursday. I see some problems here. What do you think, Tater Rooney?
I don't even know. The fact that she says we've only been married 2 years. And to me, the important milestones are blah, blah, blah.
When you're in a relationship, particularly when you're married, if it matters to one person, it needs to matter to both of you, at least to some degree, right? It's not just about one person's desires here, which means that you think it's really important to see your coworker off. The fact that you are indeed choosing to see a male coworker the night of your anniversary dinner instead of doing dinner with your husband says a lot, and putting myself in his shoes would hurt, right? The fact that you also did not offer any kind of compromise to say here, like, how about we go to dinner? And then if you are okay with it, why don't we both go swing by this party and at least see him off, right? I feel like I have a duty to do that. He's a friend. I would love for you to come with me. I want to be with you that night. You're my husband. And it sounds a little bit like you take him for granted in general. And maybe that's why he's acting the way that he's acting. He had this planned. He made reservations as a surprise. And you're like, oh, you brushed it off like it wasn't a big deal at all. And even now you justify it by saying it's not a big deal to you. It's not a big deal to you. It's clearly a bigger deal to him, and you're not respecting that, which elevates your ASCON level for me, because this isn't just about that day. This is about the fundamentals of your marriage now, and you not respecting how he feels about things, right? So you've got an imbalance. You've got a communication issue here, and you're going to have to work through a lot of that. So good luck on getting to those milestones where you would be willing to honor the plans, because right now what you're doing isn't going to allow you to continue at least a functional relationship.
No, I think that if you went out of your way to make reservations for our anniversary, there's no way I'm missing that, because you took the time and initiative to do that and remembered our anniversary and all of those things. But I think her inability to compromise whatsoever with what her husband had planned for her, I think makes her a huge asshole, because she was prioritizing the coworker over her husband when you pointed out like a great compromise, which was going to dinner and then going to meet up with coworkers after with her husband. Yeah. Or even just inviting her husband to the going away party instead of going by herself on their anniversary.
Yes.
Or going to the party and then going to dinner, whatever that looks like, but even offering a compromise. But her husband's response to this seems like maybe not the first time this has happened in their relationship, where he's been dismissed. And so when you shut down like that after, like, I don't know, obviously this is just conjecture, but I don't know. Yeah.
Well, and I understand different people feel different ways about this. And Mercy, see your comment here. She didn't know it was planned. I agree with her. They could go out the next day. I've been married for 16 years and my husband travels for work, so we don't usually get to spend those special days together. I understand. And it not like the two things happening on the same day and there being a conflict. That's not really the issue for me. The issue for me is that she was 100% dismissive of plans he was trying to make and didn't try to compromise at all. There was no compromising. It was, this is what I'm doing. You can f*** your plans off. It's not a big deal. So her immediately just adopting, that would have been the compromise.
I mean, I think that would have been fine to make your husband be like, hey, this is really important to me. Can we go to this together and then go to dinner the next night?
Yeah.
Like that's so easy to make your partner feel like what they did is not unnoticed. Like you see that and you appreciate that. Let's just move it one night and go to both.
This one is, am I the astronaut for telling my sister she wasn't always the chosen one? Before my brothers and I were born, my mom had a child with an old boyfriend, Penny. Her boyfriend / Penny's bio dad didn't stick around. My mom then met my dad when Penny was 3 and they got married. My dad adopted Penny. My mom then went on to have me and my brothers with our dad. Growing up, Penny was always the apple of my dad's eye. He gave us all attention, but he always went out of his way to make it equal. Around the time she entered her teens, Penny would make the joke, Dad was stuck with you guys, but he chose me. Or refer to herself as the chosen one. My brothers and parents always thought it was hilarious. I thought it was obnoxious. If our brothers and I were ever discussing what traits we got or didn't get from Dad, Penny would break in with, I didn't get anything from him except his last name because I'm the chosen one. Now we're all adults, and Penny still trots that out from time to time. Recently, it came up when my siblings and I were out with our partners for drinks. One of my brothers has a new-ish girlfriend, so she was not aware of Penny's story. Penny was telling it, shoving in that she's the chosen one. I admit I was a little drunk, and I said, chosen by our dad. Well, you weren't chosen by your first dad, huh?
Oh
okay,
my
yep,
gosh.
yeah, that was shitty. Yep, that was a shitty thing to say. That was definitely shitty. Let me give you another dose of red flags here, because, yep. Penny got a hurt look on her face. My brothers told me that was uncalled for. Even the new girlfriend was looking at me like I was a douche. I said this story is just getting old. We've all heard it, and it's a little ridiculous. My boyfriend ended up calling us an Uber and getting me out of there. Well, of course, word's gotten back to our parents, and they're pissed at me, saying I was rude. I said Penny was just being obnoxious. Am I the astronaut?
Yeah.
Top comments. JFC. Yeah, obviously. YTA. Penny's joke might be annoying, but it's obvious she's overcompensating because being abandoned would cause such big insecurity. Yep. If you had a legitimate issue, you could have discussed it privately, not drop a nuke in the middle of a family dinner. Two things can be true. I still think OP is the astronaut because it's clearly overcompensation, but it's kind of funny, I'm sure more so at different times than others. If anything is going to be said at that dinner, it would be something like, isn't that getting old? It's a bit jaded, but it's less hurtful and more honest about his feelings than saying the hurtful thing about her bio dad not choosing her. Like, make a joke about how often she tells the story or something. It's still not that nice, but more honest about personal feelings and less hostile than the statement that was made. That was inappropriate, even if they fought all the time. It's like a line you don't cross out of understanding how sore that point is. He clearly wasn't empathizing, that's for sure. All that being said, I can understand how annoying this must be, but there's better ways to handle it than being purposefully hurtful. I mean, look, you've heard it all. You said there was a newish girlfriend there. She didn't know the story. So you're like, we've heard it all. Yeah, no, not all of you have, because there's someone brand new there. That's why she's telling the story. And I understand it may be old to you, and there are things, among siblings that I'm sure annoy each other about each other. Mm-hmm. But those are siblings. You don't go for the jugular.
What did OP mean by saying Penny was the apple of my dad's eye? Go back up. It was like Penny was the apple of my dad's eye.
Yeah. Would give attention to everybody, but would go above and beyond.
He gave us all attention, but he always went out of his way to make it equal.
Yeah.
So how is Penny the apple of the dad's eye if he gave everyone attention and went out of his way to make it equal?
I think
because Penny's not his bio child, so he shouldn't make it equal. That's the vibe that it's giving.
So OP views that as giving her extra attention because his bio children in OP's mind are worth more attention. So they took some attention away from them to make it equal with her, and OP resents that. At least OP, don't know about other siblings, but OP resents that.
That line bothers me. Like to me, it says that OP believes Penny shouldn't have the same amount of attention because she is not biologically related to their dad. Like that's what I got from that sentence, and I don't like that. To me, says there's some deep rooted issues between OP and Penny. Uh-huh. And
there's a resentment there,
and it doesn't say if OP is male or female. We don't get that information, right?
Nope.
Okay, so we don't know if she's another sister. So if she's the only other girl, maybe there is some competition that is felt there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, could be. It could be.
Yeah. But you can't say that he favored her, but that he also made it equal, because
he favored her by making it equal.
That doesn't work.
That's what she's saying. But
I mean, if that's what she's trying to say, then you're just an asshole, because you don't think that Penny should have the same attention, even though because she's adopted by your dad. Like, that's what it's giving. And then now you're just pissed because she's saying that she's the chosen one. I do think she is compensating because she was not chosen by her bio dad. As annoying as it may be, it was not. This response from OP was not warranted. Like, not at all. That's you swung so hard into YTA that you knocked Penny out of it. Penny flew into NTA, and you just went all the way to Aspen.
I would agree with that. I mean, she's just carrying on a joke from when y'all were kids, right? If it was something that she started as an adult, I'd be maybe treating this differently. But she's carrying on a thing that you find annoying from when you were kids. Like, okay, I feel like it's deserving of this. So I'm going to do it because, damn. Reverse the roles here. And if somebody said that to you, OP, like, you would be crushed. And going there because you were annoyed about a lifelong joke is not a proportionate response at all, right? It was loaded. And I think you need to do some work and figure out why it was loaded and what it's loaded with. Am I the astronaut for wanting to cancel my wedding after my fiancé accidentally sold my late dad's guitar? When I was 14, my dad passed away suddenly. The only thing I kept of his was his old Fender guitar. It wasn't worth much money, but to me, it was priceless. He taught me to play on it, and every time I touched those strings, it felt like he was still there. I told everyone in my life, especially my fiancé, that this guitar was off limits. Fast forward to last weekend. We're getting married in 3 weeks. My fiancé has been on this weird minimalism kick, selling random things on Facebook Marketplace for extra honeymoon cash. I came home for work and noticed my guitar stand was empty. I thought maybe he moved it because we were deep cleaning. Nope, he sold it. When I confronted him, he said he forgot it was sentimental and thought it was just collecting dust. He even bragged that he got $150 for it. I lost it, like ugly crying, shaking, couldn't breathe. He kept saying, "Babe, I'll just buy you another one." Let's go ahead and brozo this douche canoe. You can get the same model online, but it's not the same. My dad's fingerprints were literally worn into the fretboard. You can't buy that back. I immediately asked him to message the buyer to get it back. He refused at first because he didn't want to look stupid. I told him I didn't care if he looked like an idiot. Go get my guitar. When he finally reached out, the buyer said they had already gifted it to their teenage son who absolutely loves it and would not give it back. Oh, you stepped in it, boy. Since then, my fiancé has been sulking, acting like I am overreacting and ruining the wedding vibe. He told his mom, who already doesn't like me, and now his whole family is texting me to stop punishing him for an honest mistake. Oh, he got his mommy involved too. That helps. I'm not sure I can marry someone who can be this careless with something I've been crystal clear about for years. It's not about the guitar. It's about the fact that he didn't care enough to remember. Am I the astronaut for thinking about calling off the wedding? No, you are not. You are not the astronaut. NTA on this. And here's where it becomes crystal clear for me. If this were an honest mistake, that's one thing. And he would do everything within his power to get it back. Everything. Like he'd go get another guitar that's the same model, buy it online, bring it to the person who bought this one from him, give it to them to give it to the kid to get yours back. Because it has sentimental value. That is well beyond the $150 he got for it. And if this was a USA-made Fender, boy... But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about the actual monetary value of the guitar. The value is emotional value. It is emotionally priceless. Not only did he know that and went ahead and sold it, but then when he was confronted with the dark, ugly truth of what he had done, minimized your pain, minimized your feelings. Didn't want to go get it back because he didn't want to look like an idiot. You're worried about how you look to a stranger more than how you look to me? Your fiancé? That says a lot. And then after he couldn't get it back, it sounds like he tried real hard, he just moped around and said that you were ruining the wedding vibe, and then told his mommy, and then told the rest of his family, and got them all texting you. FTG, do not marry this man. I'm not one to jump to that conclusion lightly, but there are so many red flags, I have no other choice. This is someone who doesn't respect you as a human being. For what he chose to do, this is just a terrible human being. He's terrible. And doubling down on it, not giving any kind of effort in here about trying to make it right. You were NTA. He's a black hole astronaut. Do not marry this douche canoe. Want to park like an a-hole? Get trapped like an a-hole. I guess a-holes kind of are trapped between two cheeks. I went to the mall yesterday to go to my local Barnes & Noble. This mall's Barnes & Noble parking area is like always full, but I found a cute little spot and I parked my happy ass car in it. Well, once I finished spending a ridiculous amount of money on books I'll never read, I came back to my car only to find that the car had parked next to mine, driver's side, so close a child would not be able to squeeze in there. I do the old crawl in through the passenger side maneuver, very annoyed, and I'm like, well, that was annoying, let me just leave. And then I realize, why should this asshole get the pleasure of entering their car all happy when I did not? So I take a gamble that the car on their driver's side will leave before them. I'm waiting outside. I shit you not even 2 minutes later, someone's happy ass walks out of Barnes & Noble, presumably with books they will never read. He gets into the car next to the asshole's car and leaves. Happy not reading to you, my friend. Love you. I get back to my car and pull into the spot so close a child would not be able to fit through it. It took some effort to park that shitty, and I wait again, outside of course. About 15 minutes of Reddit scrolling later, someone's happy smug ass walks out of the Barnes & Noble, and his smugness is instantly crushed when they realize, oh no, my car is so close to this that a child could not fit through. I smile. I could do this all day. All day! I watch him struggle to get from the passenger side seat into the driver's seat because, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this guy's not skinny and he was tall, like at least 5'11", and I'm 5'2", and did the passenger to driver seat gymnastics in under half a minute. This guy struggled for like 3 minutes trying to get his legs to the other side. Once I see him almost done with his gymnastics, doesn't feel nice when it happens to you, is all I'm thinking. I walk over to my car and get in and reverse out. I make sure to glance at him and smile and then give him the finger. He looks bewildered, already enraged about this 3 minutes of struggle. Why would I flip him off? A look of realization crosses his face. I like to think his dumbass just realized that my car was on the other side before. Think before parking like an asshole. The commitment to the petty is admirable. Like who amongst us would be like, you know what? I got 30 minutes. Back out, wait for the car on the other side of them to leave so that you could pull into it and park too close, then get out, go sit somewhere, and wait to see what happens. And then my favorite part, that if it had ended there, it would have been great. But the best part of the entire damn thing was when she waited until after 3 minutes of him struggling to get his tree legs to the driver's side, so now he's like sprawled all bent in half in an awkward ass position. That's when she walks up and gets in her car and backs out. Smiles and waves, and then flips him off. The commitment! Imagine if we had that level of commitment to everything in our lives. Like OP could create world peace with that level of commitment. But this is where it belongs. This is exactly where it belongs. And you know, you guys this has all happened to you. This has all happened to you where somebody pulls up and they're like this close, right? Not on their driver's side door because they're going to get out, by God, but it's not fun. I had to go to the doctor this morning, and there was the parking lot for the doctor's office is pretty small. There's not that many spaces, and the lawn service that services the lawn of this doctor's office parked behind like 10 cars because it was a massive truck on their trailer. They blocked like 10 people in, and not on the staff side, the people that are going to be there all day. On the patient side, the people that need to leave. I was like, wow, that's bold. Imagine getting out of the doctor's office and sitting there and having to wait till homeboy's done mowing the grass, which takes a couple of hours, I'm sure, just so you can get the f*** out and go and leave. That was awesome. Am I the astronaut for refusing to take care of my sick mother-in-law after she told my husband to divorce me while I was in the hospital? So some context. I, 32 female, have been married to my husband, 35 male, for 7 years. We have 2 kids, 5 male and 3 female. Last year, I had a complicated pregnancy with my daughter that landed me in the hospital for over a month. While I was admitted, my mother-in-law, 68 female, decided to help out at our house. I thought it was a kind gesture until I found out what she was actually doing. Apparently, she told my husband multiple times that he deserves better and that I was too fragile to be a good wife and mother. She even went as far as telling him he should cut his losses and start fresh with someone healthier. Wow. What? My husband told me this months later, claiming he didn't take her seriously. Fast forward to now, my mother-in-law was recently diagnosed with a chronic illness and needs someone to take care of her for the next few months while she recovers from surgery. My husband asked if she could move in with us so I could help care for her during the day since I work from home. I flat out said no. I told him that the woman who tried to convince him to leave me while I was fighting for my life is not welcome in my home, let alone under my care. He keeps saying that I'm being cruel and holding a grudge, and that family helps family no matter what. Now his siblings are messaging me, calling me heartless, saying that she's old, she's sick, and she's sorry. But here's the thing, she never actually apologized to me. The only time she's brought it up was to say, I was just worried about my son's future. My husband is barely speaking to me, and I'm starting to wonder if I'm being too cold. Am I the astronaut for refusing to take care of her? No, and here's why. The only reason he's feeling so strongly about how he's passing this along to you is because mommy is disapproving of his behavior, and he's failing his mommy right now. Also, his siblings reaching out with opinions. I wonder why. They don't want to do it.
Calling you heartless. Why don't they step up?
Exactly.
She's old. She's sick. She's sorry. Really? Because she never said that to me.
She's old. She's sick. She's sorry. She's living with one of you.
Yeah. You guys take her in then.
I friggin', it's so funny and transparent. Yet OP is like, they had these opinions, and now I'm wondering, how do people not realize where that motive comes from? They're selfishly looking out for themselves because they don't want to have to deal with it. It's so transparent. How do you not see it when you're in that moment?
No, your misogynistic mother cannot live with us because that felt like very deep rooted. Your wife's of no longer of use to you because she's sick, so therefore you should leave her because our job is to wait on you hand and foot. Yeah, that's the vibe that it's giving. And now she needs someone, and it ain't gonna be OP. How could you, after this person just told your spouse to leave you? And also, like, husband, pull your head out of your ass.
Yes. And now he's being all mopey.
He should have shut that down in the moment and told her about it when it happened and kicked his mom out.
It's a terrible human thing to say, Mom.
She was mean. Like, this was what she said and what she did when somebody was sick was completely uncalled for. She was going through something. And I'm confused at the timeline because she said she only has 2 kids, but she was in the hospital last year with a complicated pregnancy, but they only have 2 kids. So
maybe it was complications that lasted for a couple of years afterwards after having her. That's the only thing I could think of.
Miscarried or something. Something happened that was traumatic to OP, and the mother-in-law used it as an excuse to kick her out of her family. No, you don't get to, don't get to f***ing live in my house. Like, no, absolutely not.
Also, like, since when is being human being too fragile? Yeah, being human sucks. I get it, but
and if it was a pregnancy loss, like, to degrade her like that, like, she's too fragile, like that. No, there's just no f***ing way. I don't even know how they're. And now, like, she's forgiven her enough to be around her. Yeah, like
I don't think she is. She says she's not welcome in her home, let alone under her care, which means that she hasn't been around her since then.
Good.
Hey, Dusty Thunder here, and I wanted to thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that content, and if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and most importantly, share. Also, you can find swag and so much more at dusty-thunder.com, and you'll find even more content on all of our platforms. We're on TikTok, YouTube. We now have an official Facebook page that we'll be posting stories to as well. We have podcasts on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and so much more. You can see all of our content platforms on Linktree, which is linked in my bio. Engage with us wherever you're enjoying content, and do your best to avoid the Askonauts today. Thanks again.